Hello everyone, I am Lysanton Agan Oliveros,
And I am Baika Bano.
and the task that given to us is the chapter 2.5 with the title of
Revisiting Corazon Aquino's speech before the U.S. Congress.
The speech was delivered by Corazon Aquino on September 18, 1986. That was 7 months after Corazon Aquino became the president. That was after the EDSA People Power Revolution. Juan Marcos was ousted, and here comes Corazon Aquino assuming the presidency. She went to the United States to the U.S. Congress and delivered this particular speech before the U.S. people. Before we go to the document itself, let us first visit the background of Corazon Aquino and try to understand the context of this speech in our relation to our background. Second, the event that happened in 1986, that was the People Power Revolution, or the EDSA People Power Revolution. These are important matters for us to deeply understand the meaning of this speech given by Corazon Aquino before the U.S. Congress. Corazon Aquino, or Cory Aquino, was the widowed wife of the late former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. Ninoy Aquino, or Benigno Ninoy Aquino, was one of the strongest opposition of the late President Ferdinand Marcos. And so when Ninoy Aquino was assassinated, Corazon Aquino was portrayed in history as the mourning wife, or the widowed wife of who was mourning for the death of her husband. And Corazon Aquino was portrayed in history was the mourning wife, or the widowed wife who was mourning for the death of her husband, and she was portrayed in history as the wife who had always been a shadow of her husband and relatives. And particularly, Corazon Aquino had no experience with politics, unlike former Senator Benigno Ninoy Aquino, who was well experienced about politics, but Corazon Aquino has no experience with politics. One important thing that we had to know about Corazon Aquino was that Corazon Aquino came from a wealthy family, coming from a Cuangco family, who owns Hacienda Lucita. They owned a vast portion of land in Tarlac and sugar plantation, and their relatives occupied the local and national government positions during their time. When we compare between Corazon Aquino and Marcos, or President Ferdinand Marcos, was that Marcos was well experienced, well-rounded about politics, while Corazon Aquino was not. It was Benigno, or Ninoy Aquino, who was well-rounded also about politics. And so here comes the cry of the people na dapat labanan yung dictatorship ni Marcos, na yun yung isa sa advokasya ni Corazon Aquino. That's why during the snap election, Corazon Aquino ran for president against Marcos. And so there was a snap election that happened in February 1986, and it resulted with a landslide win of President Marcos. So Corazon Aquino lost in that election, although they were claiming na meron daw dayaan nangyari, but we do not really know what happened. So after the snap election, there was a lot of protest that happened coming from different people such as CPP, NPA, and rebels. And some of the activists were actually working out and having this plot to make a revolution, until such time that the Archbishop of Manila was the Jaime Cardinal Sin urged the people to come to the EDSA to have that people power revolution. So kaya nga sa EDSA People Power Revolution in 1986, malaki yung contribution ng Catholic Church in realizing that particular EDSA People Revolution, because it was Cardinal Sin who actually thought and urged the people, especially the Catholics, the nuns, mga madre, mga pare, to come to EDSA and march in order to have that people power revolution aiming to oust Ferdinand Marcos from the presidency. Okay, so yun yung nangyari. Marcos left the Malacanang Palace and fled to Hawaii. And here comes Corazon Aquino assuming the presidency. And so on September 18, 1986, that was the 7 months after Cory Aquino became the president, she went to the US to deliver this particular speech. Let us now visit the speech. In the speech, Corazon Aquino actually emphasized the character and the conviction of her late husband, that was Ninoy Aquino. And she was talking about the strong opposition of Ninoy Aquino about the authoritarianism of that Marcos. And she talked about 3 times almost they have lost Ninoy Aquino and all of these sufferings that Ninoy Aquino had experienced in the hands of the authoritarianism of Marcos. She said in a speech, the government sought to break him by indignities and terror. They locked him up in a tiny, nearly airless cell in a military camp in the north. They stripped him naked and held a threat of a sudden midnight execution over his head. Ninoy held up manfully under all of it. I barely did as well. For 43 days, the authorities would not tell me what had happened to him. This was the first time my children and I felt we had lost him. So, Cory continued that when Ninoy survived the first detention, he was then charged of subversion, murder, and other crime. He was tried by a military court whose legitimacy Ninoy adamantly questioned. To solidify his protest, Ninoy decided to do a hunger strike and fasted for 40 days. Cory treated this event as the second time that their family lost Ninoy. She said in the speech again, when that didn't work, they put him on trial for subversion, murder, and a host of other crimes before a military commission. Ninoy challenged its authority and went on a fast. If he survived it, then he felt God intended him for another fate. We had lost him again, for nothing would hold him back from his determination to see his fast through to the end. He stopped only when it dawned on him that the government would keep his body alive after the fast had destroyed his brain. And so, with barely any life in his body, he called off the fast on the 40th day. In another content of the speech was that Cory was talking about the death of her husband. She said, and then we lost him irrevocably and more painfully than in the past. The news came to us in Boston. It had to be after the 3 happiest years of our lives together. But his death was my country's resurrection and the courage and faith by which alone they could be free again. The dictator had called him a nobody. Yet 2 million people threw aside their passivity and fear and escorted him to his grave. So based on the speech itself, we can see that Cory attributed the peaceful EDSA revolution to the death of her husband. So, para bang sinasabi nilang na if not because of the death of Ninoy Aquino, then posibleng walang EDSAng People Power Revolution na mangyari. Kasi after the death of Ninoy Aquino, daming sumampatya sa kanila. There were many people who sided with them. They were, sabi nila, who were also claiming for freedom, for the rights, against her dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos in the speech. Also, we could see that Cory introduced the democratic philosophy that she claimed as coming also from her husband. She said, I held fast to Ninoy's conviction that it must be by the ways of democracy. I held out for participation in the 1984 election the dictatorship called. Even if I knew it would be rigged, I was warned by the lawyers of the opposition that I ran the grave risk of legitimizing the foregone results of elections that were clearly going to be fraudulent. But I was not fighting for lawyers, but for the people in whose intelligence I had implicit faith. By the exercise of democracy, even in a dictatorship, they would be prepared for democracy when it came. And then also, it was the only way I knew by which we could measure our power even in the terms dictated by the dictatorship. The people vindicated me in an election shamefully marked by government thuggery and fraud. The opposition swept the elections, garnering a clear majority of the votes even if they ended up thanks to a corrupt commission on elections with barely a third of the seats in parliament. Now I knew our power. So, base sa ating binabasa, pinalabas ni former President Corazon Aquino is that the result of the snap election between her and Marcos was a fraud. Someday, isang malaking dayaan nangyari, and that her presidency was through the people's struggle na parabang she was making the people's struggle as the legitimate means for her to become the president and not because of the particular election. So what really made her as a president was she was not elected. She assumed presidency because of that EDSA People Power Revolution. Then may ilang tanong din yung sa side ng mga Marcos, bakit daw in really did not become or did not assume the presidency. Bakit Fidel Ramos did not assume the presidency? Why Corazon Aquino? That was the question, and itong katotohanan about this proclamation of former President Cory Aquino, totoo ba talaga na dayaan yung nangyari during the snap election? So it was really a fraud. We don't know. We don't know what really happened. Wala naman tayong ebidensya. So, isa sa mga major content ng speech ni Corazon Aquino was really about the restoration of democracy. It was talking about the respect of freedom rights of the people and the restoration of democracy from the authoritarianism of Ferdinand Marcos. Isa sa controversial agenda of this speech of the Cory Aquino speech before the US Congress was about peace. The peace agenda because she was talking about the existing communist insurgency in the country. We can actually remember that during the time of Marcos, one of the reasons why Marcos declared martial law was due to the uprisings, the growing numbers of the CPP-NPA during this time. So when Marcos implemented in martial law, and ang daming mga CPP-NPA na pinakulong. In fact, some of them were tortured based on some historians. However, based on the speech in itself of Corazon Aquino, she wanted to have peace. She wanted to have peace with those people. That's why this is one of the reasons why ang daming mga NPAs or ang daming mga CPP-NPA ang pinakawalan ni President Corazon Aquino during her time because she wanted these people live with a normal life and not just living life in the jungle. Sabi niya, those people should leave the armed struggle rather, and go back to the city life and live with us peacefully. So she wanted to have peace since no dahilan kung bakit during that time of President Corazon Aquino and the animal rebuilding captured by Marcos was actually released for a result. However, this is now the question after that time of Corazon Aquino, did the CPP-NPA stop the rebellion? Bakit andyan pa rin ang rebellion? Nandyan pa rin ang MILF. In fact, CPP-NPA actually was increasing numbers of that time. What was the reason? Towards the end of that speech, Corazon Aquino was actually thanking the America. She thanked the America for accommodating them for 3 years when they were in exile. She was assuring the America that she wanted to restore democracy. She was assuring the America that there should be alliance with the Philippines and the America during her reign as the president of the Philippines. We are going to analyze even towards the end of that speech. Corazon Aquino was still continuously building alliance with the America, continuously building connections with the American people. What is important here is that in that speech, we can already take some clues not just on the individual convictions and ideas and aspirations of Corazon Aquino and Ninoy Aquino, but also some guiding principles and framework of what kind of government she wanted to build, what kind of government she wanted to represent when she became the president of the Philippines right after the time of President Marcos. And that would be all. Thank you. Once again, I am Lysenton Ogan Oliveros, and my co-member Baikabano will discuss to you what is the analysis of Corazon Aquino before the US Congress. Thank you.